Good morning. Welcome everyone to this InnoBuyer webinar focused on the call for challengers. My name is Miriam Martin, and I am the head of project management at TIC-Biomed, one of the InnoBuyer partners. We have now all the attendees joining to the webinar, and we have 84 participants registered. So we are quite happy that this webinar has raised such an interest, and we would like to know more from your side during this webinar on which are your expectations and your questions. This is a series of webinars. This is the first webinar. It's an introductory one focused on what InnoBuyer is and what the call for challengers entails. It will be followed by another webinar on the 1st March that will focus more on how to define a need, how to identify a need within procurers organizations. And then we will end up this series of webinars with a European conference. So the objectives of this webinar is mainly to introduce what InnoBuyer is, what the process entails, and also to open the floor for some questions that you might already have. And mainly to encourage you to go through all the documents that we have uploaded on our website, including all the little details on what you have to do in order to submit a proposal. So let me introduce the speakers for today. They will be presenting themselves when their turn starts, but we will count with Elisa Friend, is the CEO of HealthProc Europe, with Miguel Gonçalves, project manager from F6S, that will focus on what InnoBuyer is, and Elena Lopez, project manager of TIC-Biomed, that will explain the process of the call and these little details that you have to pay attention when submitting a proposal. I would like to go through the housekeeping rules. This is a webinar, so your micros and your camera are closed. The webinar consists in short presentations, 3 presentations actually. So we will open the floor to the participants virtually. This means that if you have any questions, please write them down in the box. I think it's in the part below the screen where they say questions. Write your questions, and when the time comes by the end of the webinar, we will reply to all those questions. Okay, so as I said, we will proceed with the agenda, starting with Elisa Friend. She is the CEO of HealthProc Europe, and she's going to present why it's important, this initiative for them. And so I leave the floor to you, Elisa.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for that introduction and also the welcome. So I also want to extend from HealthProc Europe my welcome to you joining this webinar. We are a nonprofit member organization representing and advocating for healthcare procurement professionals across Europe. So this is why we're here, because for us, this InnoBuyer project is the opportunity with healthcare procurement gaining importance to take part and play part of the game when it comes to innovation in procurement, and particularly looking into the angle of the InnoBuyer project. I want to extend the invitation to you, being procurement professionals, to get engaged in innovation, get engaged from the very early status of the innovation project within your institutions, to actually shape the projects also that they are long lasting. Why is this important? Well, we have seen so many testing phases and pilots, and I'm sure you're well aware of this. So to implement innovation beyond the pilot is important to have you on board. And I really want to encourage you to get involved, to share your perspectives, to share the requirements of how to move the innovation to the next phase when it is about successful pilots to be implemented. So make use of this webinar, answer all your questions that are needed. And I would love to see you as the innovation procurement people that actually also drive from the procurement perspective, the innovation project. I think that's a fantastic opportunity here from this InnoBuyer project, from the funding perspective, to really get the innovation to the next level. So I'm very happy as HealthProc Europe being part of this and putting procurement in the center of innovation as one element of the stakeholder set. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Elisa, for your encouraging words. Now we are going to focus on what is InnoBuyer. It's like why we started InnoBuyer and which is the focus. So whenever you are ready, Miguel, the floor is yours.
And here I am. Thank you very much, Miriam and Elisa, for this kind introduction, and welcome to the many attendees who are joining this session. We are indeed really excited to spread the word about InnoBuyer and mainly our core for challengers. But first, let me start with a little bit of context. So we all know that innovation is the driving force for economic growth. It is the key to create new products, new services, and industries that can create jobs, improve living standards, and address some of the world's most pressing challenges that we have right now. And we all know that we have many. And one way that big public and private organizations have to be more innovative and deliver better and more efficient services to customers and to citizens in general is through the procurement of innovation, engaging with innovative suppliers and develop and adopt new solutions. It has benefits for both sides. From the demand side or the challenger side, it's a way to steer and speed up the development or adoption of innovative solutions. And it has many benefits as well for the supply side, for the innovative SMEs. It helps them to open up concrete business opportunities, speed up time to market, attract investors, create jobs, or create technological leadership. So it has really many benefits for each organization, for society in general. But we all know that despite the fact that the procurement of innovation offers many benefits, it is not easy to implement. It can be, in fact, quite complex because many questions arise, such as how to define and how to describe a challenge within your organization to ensure that it is properly understood by innovative companies, and not only understood, but also attractive for them to engage with you. How do you find innovative companies with the best expertise and resources adapted to your organization's specific needs? How do you monitor and evaluate the innovators' progress when co-creating a solution with them? And if you manage to co-develop a good solution with an innovative partner, how do you conceptualize and create terms of reference for a simplified innovation procurement? And this is where InnoBuyer comes into play. It's a project funded by the European Union via the European Innovation Council. It's implemented by three partners, F6S, Civita, and TIC Biomed. And in a nutshell, it offers expertise and funding support to solve your organization's challenges in collaboration with innovative companies. And it does that in 4 sequential steps. So InnoBuyer helps organizations first to identify and describe their innovation needs. In the second place, to find and connect with innovation suppliers and solutions to solve those needs. On the third step, to co-create a pilot with innovative companies. And at the end, if the co-created solution is useful, if it was a success, it offers legal support to prepare a tender to purchase the co-created solution. And as you can see on the screen, there is funding support attached to each of the steps of the InnoBuyer program to make sure that you, as a big public or private organization, can allocate the appropriate resources to be involved in the program. And as you can see in the third phase, in the co-creation phase, there is funding support for the procurer, but a big part of it is for the solver with who you will be able to engage with to develop a solution for you. So it's totally funded by the European Commission. It's a reduced paperwork process, and it's really demand-driven based on your needs. So this was in a nutshell. Let me go a little bit more in detail how you can join the InnoBuyer program. So right now, from February to the end of March, you can apply for InnoBuyer with up to 4 challenges, 4 unmet innovation needs that your organization has. And Elisa, after me, will give a presentation about specifically the eligibility criteria, the evaluation criteria. And also until March, you will be able to attend other InnoBuyer events that were mentioned by Miriam at the beginning to learn more about how to identify and describe unmet needs. In April, the InnoBuyer Consortium, with the support of external experts, will select 15 unmet needs that were submitted in these calls for challenges to be part of the InnoBuyer program. Then, if you're selected, if your organization is selected, you will start working with us and joining the InnoBuyer program and in the 4 sequential steps. So from action 1, which starts in May until July, you will get expert support and to transform your submitted unmet need into an improved version called challenge. And that challenge that will be written in a way that innovative SMEs can understand it and attractive to them will feed the second action of the program, which will be a call for solvers. And we will invite innovative companies to suggest solutions for each one of the 15 unmet innovation needs worked on in action 1. And still in action 1, you will be invited and you will have the opportunity to work with other big organizations, other procurers who might be interested in the same solution and be part of the process as observers and create synergies around this. And for this first action, because it will be demanding and we really need organizations who are participating in an InnoBuyer program to be committed to the program, you will get 10,000 euros to support you financially and to make sure that you allocate the resources internally to this program. So on the first action, you work on the definition of challenges. On the second one, you'll be part of the launch of the call for innovators to identify the best solutions for each one of the 15 selected challenges. You will be able to attend InnoBuyer's training sessions and events about open market consultation, market dialogue, and sourcing. And you will also be invited to be involved in the evaluation of the solution that will be proposed by innovative companies. And at the end of this second action, you will be able to sign a co-creation agreement with the selected SMEs and also with the InnoBuyer Consortium to then start piloting the solution. But for this action, you will get an extra 10,000 euros again to be committed to this action. So the third step will be the pilot co-creation. So this step will have a duration of 10 months for you to pilot a solution with an innovative SME. So really the goal is at the end to have a pilot deployed and tested and assessed that could answer your challenge needs. And we will get the support from the InnoBuyer team in monitoring the development of the process. And so for this part, the challenger will get 6,500 euros for this, and the solver who will be building a solution for you will get 58,500 euros to create the solution. And action 4, it's all about legal support to launch a tender. So if the pilot is successful and if it's really interesting and can have an impact for your organization, then you will get legal support. You will get 15,000 euros to get legal support adapted to your specific needs at your country level and adapted to your country legislation and also adapted to the pilot co-created to really launch a simplified innovation procurement to acquire the solution created in action 3. So it's really a process in 4 steps, from needs identification to the process of preparing a tender to really speed up the innovation process and acquire new solutions. So what are the key benefits of participating? This is totally funded by the European Union. challengers can get up to 41,500 euros to participate in this. It's demand-driven based on your needs. We are trying to reduce as much as possible the paperwork involved in this process for you to really devote your time to the innovation part and co-creation and the learning experience. And you will have a continuous support in all the phases from the InnoBuyer team. So in a nutshell, that is what InnoBuyer has to offer. And what we really are looking for right now is to call all public and private organizations with unmet innovation needs to apply for our core fraud challenges and really benefit from this extraordinary project that we have here to offer. So without further ado, I will pass the word to Elisa, who will explain you in detail how you can onboard on this journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Miguel, for this thorough explanation on what InnoBuyer is about. There was already one question on the chat box regarding what we mean by challenger. I have already replied that we will explain as much as needed which are the roles that we identify, but we are mainly working with two roles. One is the challenger, that is the public or private organization that have capacity to procure, that are the ones that are going to identify the needs. Okay, so this is really, as Miguel explained, demand-driven approach. So the challenger is the first organization that have to, let's say, start all the process. They have the power, let's say, to identify the needs and work on this demand-driven approach. If it is not clear, please keep asking, because this is really important. And the second important role is what we have defined as a solver. And the solver is an innovative SME that is able to develop a solution to be able to match the need that has been identified. Okay, so for us, it's really important that every one of you have got the process quite clear on what is going to happen. So as we said, there's going to be this Q&A session by the end. So don't worry, we are happy to answer all your questions. And now we are going to focus on the say practical part of the call. Like this is a framework why we are working with InnoBuyer, but now we are going to focus on the practicalities of the call. So if you are ready, Elena, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Miriam. So I'm Elena, I work at Biomed and I'm part of the InnoBuyer team. And as Miriam said, we are gonna dive into the open call for challenges. So this presentation contains an overview of the open call, who can apply, which are the open call documents that you need to look at, how to submit an application, which kind of unmet needs you could propose to InnoBuyer, how will the best proposal be selected. We are also gonna look at the timeline and think if you are awarded, how will we do the payments and which kind of work you will have to deliver. Then we will focus on the next steps and present a little bit the new webinar that will be organized on the 1st of March. So open call for challenges, the most important part. Apply before the deadline, the 31st of March this year at 5 p.m. Central European time. The financial support, as Miguel said, we have up to 41,500 for challenges, but only for public challenges that are the ones that can go through the 4 actions. For private challenges, we have a maximum of 20,000 euros. Because they can only participate in the 2 first actions. In addition, public challenges will also indirectly benefit from 58,500 euros that will be directly paid by InnoBuyer to their selected supplier. So this is something that we introduce so that you don't have to manage the payments to the suppliers, as we know that especially for public organizations can be tricky. So we will do it for you. And then, We will have up to 10 public challenges on board and up to 5 private challenges. As I was mentioning before, the public challenges can go through the 4 actions that Miguel presented earlier, whereas private challenges can only go up to the 2 first actions. However, even if you are not, let's say, committed to continue the process, in the application phase, we will value very positively those private challenges who are willing to invest their own resources or to fund in an alternative way the co-creation, because it shows proof that you are actually caring for the whole process and that you really want to incorporate a solution. In terms of benefits, as Miguel said, we will provide with support for all the process, to refine your needs, to publish the call for suppliers, to find the most innovative companies in Europe that can help you to co-create the solutions, and to get legal support to launch a tender. But in addition, as we were saying, we do believe this is an agile manner to do it. For instance, we will directly pay the suppliers, as I said. The application process is very easy and it won't take a lot of time from you. And in addition, the financial support provided is a lump sum grant, which means that you won't need to justify costs, show time sheets or anything like that. Your payment will be based on the work that you have delivered and the deliverables that you have provided. So quite easy, the process. In terms of who can apply, any challenger, public or private or organization. If you want to think of some examples for public organizations, for instance, we can think of public hospitals in the healthcare sector, municipalities, regional or national governments. Whereas for private organizations, this could be big corporations, small and medium enterprise, in the health sectors, for instance, pharmaceutical companies, any organization with an innovation need that want to solve using an external solution instead of developing it internally. In terms of country, we are accepting applicants from the European Union member states and their overseas countries and territories. And if they are not based in a European Union member state, they could also be from Horizon Europe associated countries. If you Google that, you will get a list of eligible countries. An example, an applicant that could not apply is someone legally established in Switzerland, because it's not a European Union member state and it's not an Horizon Europe associated country. The official language of the program is English, and there are other conditions that you can read in the guidelines for applicants, like absence of conflict of interest, no convictions for fraudulent behavior or anything related, not declared bankrupt, those kind of legal requirements. In terms of open call documents, we know that this type of opportunities also come with a lot of bureaucracy, but we've tried to make it simple for you. So at the application stage, you should really focus on 2 main documents, which are the guidelines for applicants and the proposal form. So the guidelines for applicants is the document that details all the call conditions, the evaluation process, what will happen if you are awarded, and so on. Whereas the proposal form is the template that you need to use to describe your unmet needs. Then, if selected, you will have to complete 3 other documents. The declaration of honor, which is a legal document signed by you agreeing to the call conditions. The bank account form, that is simply the description of the bank account that we should use for transferring you the funds if awarded. And finally, the model to grant agreement, that is the contract that will need to be signed between the InnoBuyer team and the awarded applicant. It's different depending on whether you are a public or a private challenger, and it's already available for you to read it if you want to. If you want to prepare your legal team in case you are awarded, but it's not mandatory at this stage. And you can download all the templates from the InnoBuyer website. When submitting an application, you need to look at, as I said, to this template for describing your unmet needs. It has several sections that are totally aligned with the evaluation criteria that we will comment in a moment. So when completing it, make sure that you also have close to you the evaluation criteria to make sure that you align very well your needs with what the evaluators will actually look at. I won't go through all the sections as there will be a second webinar much more focused on this. I just want to point two things, the annexes. So there's one annex that is compulsory. You need to provide at least one letter of commitment from your organization, signed by a decision maker, explaining what is your commitment to participate in the InnoBuyer program and whether you commit to procure a solution by the end of the process, of course, if the solution shows positive results. Whereas Annex B, letter of support from other organizations, this one is optional, and it's for you to show more credibility in the section number letter J, innovation and scalability, and it's to show whether there are other challengers or other procuring organizations that would be interested in that same need. And this is important because this means that the business opportunity is bigger for the innovation supplier. Then just that technicality, but that is super important, is that there are page limits for sections and for the whole document in total. Make sure you respect them, because otherwise your proposal can be discarded, and it would be a pity just for such a technicality, so to say. Then once you have your needs described, you will need to convert that into PDF and upload it to the F6S online application form. That it's a form that contains very basic contact information and a file for you to upload your unmet needs. Here we have allowed to upload up to 4 unmet needs from your organization, in case you are a big organization or have several entrepreneurs interested in submitting an unmet need. But have in mind that we will only fund 1 unmet need per organization. So the evaluation will be done based on individual unmet needs. In addition, make sure that you only apply once with up to 4 unmet needs, because we will only consider the first 4 proposals submitted. You can read all these conditions on the website and the guidelines for applicants. When it comes to an example of an unmet need, I've selected this one from a previous project. It's a real example from a project similar to InnoBuyer from some years ago. This is a healthcare provider for a whole region in Spain. So it's a huge organization. And they found that they had to improve the communication between patient and doctor for epilepsy management. They found that they had a long waiting list to schedule 1 appointment, and that even when you, as a patient, get to that appointment, you don't have a lot of time to talk to the doctor and to understand how to manage their disease. So what they wanted to do is to create a digital communication channel between patient and doctors to improve the perceived quality of life by the patients and empowering them to better manage the disease. And as a secondary objective, the challengers also wanted to learn how to integrate third-party mobile solutions through its corporate IT systems, which were huge, as I was saying, because of the size of the organization. So then they defined some KPIs in terms of what they wanted to achieve, including the improving the quality of life perceived by the patient. They were also expecting some reduction in the number of epileptic crises in patients as a result of more prevention. And they were also expecting to see a reduction in the number of physical visits of patients to the doctor, both to the emergency room and to the doctor's office. So those kind of unmet needs could be good candidates for InnoBuyer. In terms of selecting the best proposal, we have 5 criteria defined, each with a different weight. You can have a look in the guidelines of applicants for a complete definition. The most important one is commitment with a 30% weight. Here we're evaluating 2 things. One is your commitment to participate in the InnoBuyer program, and the other thing is your commitment to procure a solution if the pilot goes well after the end of the process. For private challengers, it also measures your commitment to continue the process after action 2, where you will stop receiving funding from InnoBuyer. Then the second criteria, impact, which is at 25% of the weight, measures the severity of the problem and the potential benefits for citizens, for your organization, for your employees, for the environment. In general, the benefits if a solution is found for that problem. Then in terms of innovation and scalability, 20% of the weight, we are measuring that you are implementing an innovation that is not widely available in the market yet, and that the size of the problem is big, as I was saying before, that there are other challenger organizations interested in solving that need, because this means a bigger business opportunity for the supplier of innovation. Then feasibility, 15% of the weight. It means that what you are proposing is actually feasible and realistic to be solved during the time frame we have and with the resources that we have. And finally, the quality of the team that will be involved as part of the co-creation process. The evaluation process itself will consist on 3 main steps. First, after the call deadline, we will perform some eligibility checks to see that you comply with the eligibility criteria described in the guidelines for applicants. Then, if your proposal is eligible, it will go to the remote evaluation, where external evaluators, subject matter experts, will score your proposal based on the criteria we've just commented. And each proposal will be evaluated by at least 2 different experts. Then we will rank the proposals based on the scores and communicate the final results to you. So all of the applicants will receive by email an evaluation summary report with your score and the evaluation comments, and a letter informing you whether you have entered or not the InnoBuyer program. We will also create a reserve list for those proposals that have been scored above the threshold, but that cannot be funded because of unavailability of funds. And in case any of the awarded applicants drops out during the implementation period, you will be invited to take their seat, so to say. In addition, because we wanted to benefit as many participants as possible, we will also offer to the top 3 proposals in the public procurers reserve list to become part of the action number 1 and action number 2, just to receive training. We won't have funds to fund you, but we are happy to train you and to help you find alternative funding sources for you to make your unmet need, to solve it and to make a solution a reality. In terms of timeline, this is the whole process. So in the coming months, we will have the deadline to apply to the call for challenges. And in April, we will perform the eligibility checks and the evaluation of applications. Then invite you to sign the contracts. And by May, we will start with Action 1 from May to July this year. Then from August this year to January next year, we will focus on Action number 2, the open market consultation and the solver selection. Then from February to November 2024, you will focus on co-creation. And finally, in October 2024 to June 2025, you will receive the legal support to prepare your tender. So in this slide, you can see the schedule of payments that you will receive if you are awarded. This is for public challenges. So for instance, in Action 1, you will have a first deliverable that is the challenge. The challenge is how we call an unmet need that has been improved by different iterations within your organization. And it's a document that an innovative company will understand in terms of functional requirements and non-functional requirements, what they need to provide to win the call for suppliers. Once you submit this to us, to InnoBuyer team, you will get 10K. Then for Action 2, you will need to provide a report on the open market consultation activities that you've developed and the evaluation of solutions who you have selected to participate in co-creation, and then sign an agreement with that company detailing the plan that you have for Action 3 for the co-creation and piloting of the solution, and receive 10K. Then for Action 3, there are 2 payments. Both are a report of the pilot deployment, midterm and final. So you will have to explain the co-creation sessions that you've conducted and the test that you have performed for the solution. And finally, Action 4 is the report describing the legal support you have received and the tender documentation that you have created based on that support. For private challengers, it's the same, but just for the 2 first actions, which is where you will actually be able to participate. With a minor change that in Action number 2, you won't need to sign a co-creation agreement with the supplier, as you are not obliged to go through the co-creation process. In terms of next steps, just once again remind you to read all the call documents very carefully, to have a look at our frequently asked questions in the website. And if you have any new questions, we are happy to talk to you and to discuss. You can use the discussion forum on the F6S platform. Also encourage you to start preparing the proposal as soon as possible to make sure that you submit it on time before the deadline. And to conclude, just a reminder again to join the next webinar to learn how to master needs identification. We will discuss how to prepare a good proposal for the InnoBuyer program, and we will look at some other practical examples regarding unmet needs. And that's all from my side. I think it's time to answer your questions, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Elena, for such a detailed presentation on what the call is about. I think it has really created like some, let's say, reflection on the participants. So we already have a few questions. Now we have reached the last part of the webinar, so I invite all the presenters to join and to be able to answer the questions. For the participants, please use the chat box for the questions. We will read the questions and we will provide the answers. And as we said, we will include all these questions in the FAQ section in the platform, in the F6S platform. So I'm just going to go one by one through the questions that we have already received. So we have this question saying like by the end of 2024 and 2025, innovation will not be any more innovation because it's too long, as everything with the new developments is progressing quite fast. I don't know if anyone wants to answer this.
I can take this one.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elena. So it's true that innovation moves fast, and the evolution is quite rapid in many sectors of activities. What can be done is during the different phases to be able to adapt what is being developed, for instance, in the co-creation phase, what is the plan at the beginning can evolve to be adapted to the new market conditions and the new technology that is there. So it's not a constant process. It can be adapted to the real needs of the company and the new technology that are available at a point of time. Elena, you wanted to provide a...
No, just to complete also and to support what you said. We know it's long, but anyhow, the work needs to be done and it's time to be accomplished. And I think that compared to other existing instruments, the time frame is quite short. So even it's true that the innovation cycle is very short. Sometimes, and especially for public organizations, it takes time to do this kind of things. And that's why we want to allow that time and to support them as much as we can to do it.
Also, if I can add something, it's like, I mean, this is a tool. There are many tools in the market. This is a tool, and you have to make a choice on which are the processes that will be faster developed through co-creation and through interaction with healthcare organizations. So maybe this is not a tool that could be applied to any kind of innovation, like a really cutting edge innovation. Maybe this doesn't apply, so you need to select which are the needs that could be covered with this kind of processes. Okay. The second question is, how are the service providers selected to participate in the co-creation exercise? The service providers, some of them have prior knowledge or information as they have already developed a pilot. How does this match with the procurement rules? There are any advantages or any advantageous situation to participate in the forthcoming tender for companies?
I can get this one if you want. So we will define jointly, the challengers and the InnoBuyer team, the rules for selecting those services providers. We will launch a call for the ones that want to solve your unmet needs if you are selected. In terms of how this match with the procurement rules, we don't need to worry about that during the project, because the project has a separate call. It's a grant, it's not a procurement. So that is not a problem at this stage. And if by the end of the InnoBuyer program you launch a tender, the tender will have to follow the procurement rules, and they won't be in an advantageous situation to participate in the forthcoming tender. They will participate under the same rules than any other applicant. Of course, if they are smart, so to say, allow me to, they would leverage all the knowledge they've gained in the process by co-creating with the challenger. So they should be in a position to prepare the best offer possible for the tender. Although, of course, it could be the case that they are not selected in the final tender, because that's how procurement works.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Elena. The next question is, a private non-profit research organization is considered a private organization in the context of this call?
I can take this one. So the first thing that I will do is invite open the guidelines for applicants and check the eligibility criterion in section 3.1, which describes the type of beneficiaries, public organization, private organization, because the answer here may depend. You may be a private organization, but if you are governed by public law, you may fall under the definition of public organization. So please look a little bit deeper into section 3.1, where you have more details of the type of beneficiaries that can be onboarded on the InnoBuyer program.
Okay, thank you very much, Miguel. Yeah, there's one question here that I already replied on in written. As far as we understand, there is no sectorial distinction in your call. We have lean municipality applications. We produce solutions to improve the business processes of our municipality. I think your call includes such solutions. Please correct me if I'm wrong. However, you show payment for 4 actions, but I could not fully understand what this will pay for. So is 10,000 euros support provided for the work to be done in identifying the problem in the business process, for example? I think there are 2 questions here. The first one is regarding the sectorial distinction. We are not focused on health, although the example was on health, but we are not focused on health. This is really sector agnostic call. So any different sector could be able to send a proposal to this call. Okay, that is the first question. The second one is where the money goes. I don't know if this has already been answered because this question came before Elena's presentation. So Elena, maybe if you can describe again where the money goes in the different phases.
Sure. So the idea is that what we presented today is the money goes to the challenger, right? And in the first action, the challengers have to work on, so to say, polishing the unmet needs they have initially submitted to transforming into a challenge that an external company can understand. So what are the requirements to actually solve that unmet need? Then on action number 2, the challenge has to conduct an open market consultation to raise awareness of the open call and to get to them suppliers that can actually solve that problem, and then do a selection of the best one. So the best one will be selected and enter into the co-creation process. That is action 3. In action 3, jointly the challenger and the supplier have to work into developing a solution. So they could work on different prototypes and to do a small pilot to test a functional prototype. And finally, in action 4, the challenger gets money to contract legal support that helps them in the preparation of the tender documents in case they want to adopt the solution by the end of the InnoBuyer project. Hope it's clear now.
I'm just trying to answer at the same time. Okay, fine. The next question is, do you have a pool of innovation consultants to assist the challenges with the identification of challengers, open market consultation, legal experts on innovation procurement to support the challengers with legal support? Can legal experts apply to join this pool in case who have created such a pool?
Yes, I can take this one. So on the first actions of the program, the challenges will be assisted by the InnoBuyer team with regards to challenge identification, open market consultation. But we are indeed looking for legal experts for the 4th action of the project, which is concerning the preparation of terms of reference for the launch of the tender preparation. So we are indeed creating a pool to support the challengers in that specific actions. So if you are a legal expert and would like to engage with the InnoBuyer program, we're happy to get in touch and create that pool of legal experts that will be showcased also on our website.
Mhm.
So reach out to us.
I will also add, Miguel, that we will be launching a call for evaluators to evaluate the proposals. So if they are
Exactly, that's
interested.
also another role. If you are an expert in innovation procurement, you can you will be also able to express your interest to be an evaluator of the proposal that will be submitted in this call for challengers.
Okay, thank you very much, Miguel. Next question is the first page on the proposal template has to be removed in the submitted version. Yes. Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It should be removed and saved in PDF before submission. Thank you.
The session recording will be available later on. Sorry, well, I guess, yes, everything is going to be uploaded. Yes, I love that on our website. Okay. If my organization qualifies as a supplier, can I still participate? If yes, how? Okay. Yeah, go on, Elena.
Thanks. So your organization might be a supplier in other aspects, but if you participate in the open call for challenges, you are participating because you have an innovation need internally that you want to solve with the help of external suppliers. So if that would be one thing, and if you want to supply innovation to the unmet needs that have been identified at this stage, there will be a call by the end of this year where you can submit a proposal to solve the needs that have been already identified. Please let me know if it's clear. We know it's tricky, but if not, I will try to answer again.
Another way that you can also be active at this stage in which we are looking for challengers is that if you are an innovation supplier, you may be interested in reaching out big public or private organization with who you would like to develop a pilot with and invite them to apply for the call for challengers. That can be also a way for you to be active at this stage of the project.
Okay. Thank you very much, Elena and Miguel. Next, how do you check that challengers, public or private, are paying to suppliers when receive the funds during the project? Well, that's an easy question, Miguel. You can answer that.
Yes, sure. Actually, we have simplified this, and as I mentioned in my presentation, we really want to reduce the paperwork involved in the process. So the money will come always directly from the InnoBuyer consortium. So we will give what is meant to be for the challenger to the challenger, and the private organization will get the payment directly from InnoBuyer as well.
Okay, the other question is, do you need an invoice, or is it going to be through I don't know, a kind of form or any other
Yes.
legal proof of payment or proof of yeah.
So because it is a lump sum, it's a grant. You will have a request for payment template to fill, but it's not an invoice.
The next question, is it possible to apply to fund just one of the 4 actions? Or if we are in the process of building a tender, but we are already working in the co-piloting, is it possible to apply just to action 3 and 4?
I can, no, sorry, but I guess that we will generally answer. So not to any action, so you cannot apply to just one of the actions, and that's all. But something that we could share, I think, already is that there will be a call with limited spots for organizations that just want to do action 3 and 4. So If that is your case, that would be possible, but later next year.
Okay, next. Would a big company have no problem applying regardless of the sector? The call for solvers, it is focused on SMEs. It is not focused on big companies. So if it is for the, let's say, the companies that are going to be co-creating with the healthcare organizations, we are looking for SMEs. Anything to add? Or?
Yeah, and for this call, if your big company wants to apply as a challenger, there is no problem. If you are a big company, you can be a challenge. A private big company could be a good challenger. No problem on that.
Just to add up on that one, one of the evaluation criteria is actually the impact that you can have if you solve your challenge and your unmet innovation need. So the size of the company and the impact it can have is actually one of the things that the evaluators will look at. So your procurement power and the impact that you can have in terms of citizens that will benefit from the solution or customers that will benefit from solution will be taken into consideration to evaluate your proposal.
Okay. There is another question on the solvers. How will the solvers for each challenge be selected? Well, Miguel, as you explained, we are going to launch a call for challengers, a call for solvers, sorry, for each challenge. So that will be the way that the whole procedure will be described later on. What if multiple hospitals have the same challenge to solve? This is something that we want. It's not multiple different hospitals, but different procurers organizations. We would like one to be like the leading, let's say, organization submitting the need, but then in the template to have one section identifying like if there are what we have called aggregated procurers. So you can identify some other organizations that have the same interest. Okay, but only the one submitting the proposal will be funded. Okay. Is there any budget planning to be submitted? I don't understand this question. If you can reformulate that, unless any of you understand it.
Maybe the question is if you have to add in the proposal like a table of the different costs that you envision to have or during the implementation of the InnoBuyer program, the answer will be no. The focus of the proposal template is really on describing your innovation, the challenge, the innovation needs, how you can explain that you are committed to it and the impact that you can have. The budget planning is not necessary at this stage.
Okay, next question. Has the private challengers have to be compliant with the 70% rate rule? No, everything is funded 100%.
Exactly. What I was going to say is that as Miguel presented, for everyone, you will get 100% of the funds that we presented. So for a private challenger, up to 20,000 euros.
Yeah. Okay, another question is, I can encourage a company to apply now to an unmet need, but I cannot guarantee that I will be selected to implement the pilot with that company after the board, correct? Yeah. Next, can you send us an email address or contact person with your organization to get in contact? I think that if you go to the website, well, thank you, Elena. She has just posted, but if you go through the InnoBuyer website, you will find like the contact details. Okay. What happens if the pilot is not successful or the public entity decides not to open a tender preparation, or even if the pilot goes well and the public entity wants to sign a contract with the supplier directly? I mean, I can answer this one. This is innovation, so that means that there is like a sort of risk, and maybe the solution that is going to be developed doesn't reach the successful results that we all expect. So I'm not going to say that nothing happens, but this is a sort of pilot. It's really to apply the methodology and to learn how to do things. So as far as it is proven that both sides have done their best in order to achieve good results, and there's a good explanation why those results haven't been successful, there's no problem at all. Then regarding the tender preparation, we are obsessed with adoption, and I'm using the word obsessed really, really well here. So we would like that after every co-creation process, all organizations are going to move into the action 4, and they are really going to launch a tender preparation. But that is something that that's why we are asking for the commitment for the procurers organization, just to make sure that at least there is a big interest and there is a commitment to launch the tender. But what happens after the process of InnoBuyer, we cannot really force anyone to launch a tender. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything here.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with what you explained, Miriam. We are trying to put more emphasis into the commitment of future adoption to stop this death valley of successful innovation being piloted that is not adopted. But of course, at the end of the day, it's up to each organization. So if they decided not to launch the tender, or to launch it after a long time after the InnoBuyer program, we cannot do anything about it.
And then the last question is like a comparison. Challenger is a hospital, Solver is an external company. Yes, but I want to insist on the fact that this is not only, I mean, we are organizing this webinar together with Help Procure, but it doesn't mean that all procurers or all these private public organizations with procurement capacity have to be from the health sector. It's really health sector agnostic. But yeah, if you put an example, the Challenger will be a hospital and the Solver will be an external company. An SME, this is, so in this case, it has to be an SME, okay? Fine. I don't see any more questions here, but as I started in the opening, there's an FAQ section on F6S. I highly recommend you to register on F6S to understand how the platform works, and don't leave that for the very last day. I mean, just try to understand how it works. So if you have any other questions while preparing the proposal, please reach us, no problem at all. As I presented, the next webinar is going to take place on the 1st March. You can register on our website, on the InnoBuyer website. And this webinar is going to focus on how to define the need. It's like how to really identify and define the needs and fill in all the template that we have prepared for the call. And then finally, we will have a European conference on March 21st. In this conference, we will not only present InnoBuyer, but we will focus on which is the relevance of the procurement of innovation, and also we'll give examples, and we'll invite some other initiatives that are working on procurement of innovation and might be of your interest, because they are also launching different initiatives similar to this call. All the information will be available on the website. We keep updating the website quite regularly. So that's the best way to find the updated information. And if you want to apply, that I hope that you really want to apply, we will try to support you the best we can. As I said, there is a section for questions, but please keep in mind that we might need some time to reply some questions. Some of them are easy to answer. Some of them might need like some other validation. And with any further ado, I would like to really thank all the participants, all the presenters for their really good presentations and quite a dynamic webinar. It's always nice to have questions after a presentation. And I will just invite you to the next webinar on the 1st March, and obviously to submit a proposal for the InnoBuyer Call. So thank you very much, everyone. And this is all from our side.